Isn't it amazing how big an effect social media has on our view of current affairs, on how we judge a situation and the opinions we have of people and brands? In Alpine's case, one tweet from Oscar Piastri has made them seem like absolute amateurs. But Otmar has only made things worse for his team by putting on a foil hat to try and work out why his team has been left completely screwed. Alpine have been left reeling after the 1-2 punch of Fernando Alonso leaving and Oscar Piastri publicly denying he was driving for them in 2023 after the team said he was. It forced them into rash decisions and the embarrassment for the French team has continued to grow since. All thanks to Otmar Szafnauer's honest and sometimes baffling assessments of the situation as it develops. Otmar revealed he only learned that his driver Fernando Alonso would be departing the team at the end of the season, when he saw Aston Martin's press release announcing the move on Monday morning. After current driver Sebastian Vettel announced that he would be retiring from the sport at the end of the season, Aston Martin moved swiftly to confirm the 4-time world champion's replacement for 2023, in the form of the German's longtime rival Alonso. Alonso had been in talks with Alpine about extending his contract with the French outfit beyond this season, with Szafnauer revealing also that the two parties were very close to finalising an agreement, making the Spaniard's multi-year deal with Aston Martin all the more of a surprise. I was very confident then that Fernando would continue with us, and that was said with integrity and honesty, said Szafnauer. Before he left, I confirmed with him that we would be signing soon, and he said, "Yeah, don't worry, I haven't signed with anybody else, we will continue this in the next couple of days." He continued, and then the next morning I woke up before the release, but the next morning I saw the release from Aston Martin. We were very close with what I thought was a fair contract on both sides, and Fernando did too, but it looks like he decided to do something else thereafter. These comments were given before the Piastri snub, and at the time they seemed logical enough. Alpine had been stung, they were hurting, and they wanted to have a little dig at Fernando as he walked out of the door. Obviously, he has the rest of the season to race with the team yet, so Otmar couldn't be too honest about his feelings, but this is clearly an attempt to discredit Alonso. Highlighting that a lot of this was done behind Alpine's back is part of it, but also establishing the narrative that Fernando was lying to the team about his plan for 2023. At this point, it wasn't a great look for Alonso, and in Otmar's defense, he looked like the victim. Heading into the season's summer break, Alpine lies in 4th place in the World Championship on 99 points, compared to the 20 logged by 9th place Aston Martin. Szafnauer, who was the team principal of the Silverstone outfit until the start of this year, is confident that Alpine will continue to stay in front of its regular rival. "I know both teams well," he said, "and I know that the people that are there, and I know this team here, and both teams have great potential. But as we sit here today, this team is performing at a much higher level. It's hard to predict the future, but in the near future, for sure, this team will continue to perform at that level, if not better. Our opinion is that Alpine will continue to outperform Aston Martin. They've looked strong this season, and thanks to Daniel Ricciardo having a season to forget, they should comfortably finish 4th in the Constructors' Championship. Aston Martin, on the other hand, have not moved forward in recent years, are stuck with a driver who's only still in F1 because his dad owns a team, and have an owner who seems uninterested in winning races as long as the team makes profit. The reasons for Fernando's move haven't really been a secret. Everyone knows he wanted a long-term contract, and Alpine wouldn't offer him one because of his age. Once Alonso announced his move though, he wasn't really Alpine's problem anymore. Aston Martin won't be competing for positions with Alpine next year, so why should they care about him? And for a time, they probably did manage to forget. Until the whole Piastri saga started anyway. You know the story by now. Piastri was announced by Alpine as the replacement for Fernando. Then he tweeted denying that he was joining. Then Formula One's contract recognition board leaked that a McLaren contract had been ratified with Oscar Piastri. And that is kind of where we are at the moment with actual factual information. Whether Daniel Ricciardo stays or goes is still completely up for debate. Piastri getting taken to court by Alpine seems more concrete, but again, there's nothing certain about it yet. Obviously, Piastri saying thanks but no thanks to Alpine was a PR disaster for the team. They lose 2-time World Drivers' Champion Fernando Alonso one day, and then the next, they lose the reigning F2 Drivers' Champion and possibly the best talent to come through the junior category since Max Verstappen. That is embarrassing. But Otmar has only made things worse for himself by touting conspiracy theories about why his team has been left completely screwed. He said he would not be surprised to learn that major figures in Formula 1 had been sharing information with each other behind closed doors. In an interview with Spanish outlet El Confidencial, Szafnauer was asked if he'd been naive given Alonso, Mark Webber, who is one of Piastri's management team, and Flavio Briatore, Alonso's manager, were all very close, to which he replied he would not be surprised to learn information has been shared. Look, I have no record of it, but this is Formula 1, and maybe in a couple of years someone says that they have evidence of shared information. I would not be surprised, the Alpine boss said. I always tell everyone that in Formula 1 you have to act as if everyone knows everything, that there are no secrets in these things. Why Oscar Piastri and Fernando Alonso's management team would want to conspire against Alpine is beyond us. I'm sure Otmar has a theory though, otherwise why would he come out and say that he thinks that is what's happening? There have been reports that the new Alpine CEO is a nightmare to work with though, so that might be part of it. By all accounts, he has a personality that is all about me, and that will have clashed with Alonso's personality for sure, which would explain his sudden exit. The thing that links Alonso and Piastri's teams here is that Flavio Briatore used to be Mark Webber's manager when he was a driver. It isn't a stretch of the imagination to think that the two may have conspired to get Piastri out of Alpine. The timing of everything does seem to be suspicious. Alpine weren't keen to get Piastri into their car for 2023, and instead were insistent on loaning him out somewhere, maybe to Williams or Haas depending on who had a free seat. For a serial winner and generational talent like Oscar Piastri though, that isn't good enough. He doesn't want a season or two in the doldrums trying to either prove himself to Alpine or waiting for them to decide Alonso was too old to carry on. He wants to drive for a team that shows faith in him and can be competitive. McLaren showed faith in Lando Norris with his huge contract and they can be competitive. You can clearly see how Flavio could have helped out his old friend Webber by delaying the announcement of Fernando Alonso's move until a point where Alpine wouldn't have had a chance to confirm Piastri for 2023. And that is how everything has worked out, so well played Mark Webber and Flavio Briatore. Fernando Alonso is happy, Oscar Piastri is happy, and presumably they both got a tasty bonus when signing their drivers to new teams. I should say that I have nothing against Otmar. I like Alpine as well. They seem like a really good midfield team with potential. But this whole situation has made them look like amateurs. The whole thing really does seem to be their fault as well. If they would have placed trust in Oscar Piastri and signed him up as Fernando's replacement for 2023, instead of trying to tempt Alonso with a contract he was never going to be happy with, everything would have been fine. They definitely would have had a stronger lineup than their main rivals McLaren for 2023. And they could have continued developing the car and the team in line with their 100 race plan. Esteban Ocon is getting more and more consistent and has shown he is more than capable of getting the team points. Piastri would develop quickly with the team, and if they have actually invested the millions of euros in him that Otmar says they have, then they obviously believe he could have been the future of the sport. Alpine and Otmar played it safe though and have been made absolute fools of. If they want to start winning races in the coming years, then they need to start acting like a race-winning team. Trying to make the safe decision will send you backwards in F1. A lesson Otmar is learning the hard way now. How do you think Alpine should fix this mess they've got themselves in? And who do they sign for next year at this point? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.